Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today I have for you my July Crochet Podcast episode. I did decide to switch to doing this every month instead of every 2 months. I got maybe one comment agreeing that I should do it every month, and that's basically all I needed. So here we are at the end of July. I had a lot to share, honestly. It was kind of a crazy month. I did a lot of crocheting. I had some kind of projects that I wanted/needed to get done. And I went on vacation, so it was like this month has felt like it's several months long, but we are here at the end of it, at the beginning of August. Happy literally salt air and the rust on your door day to anyone who celebrates. This is like gonna come up actually in a few days, so not quite August 1st, but it's salt air month. It's literally I have a lot to share, so I'm just gonna get right in. For the millionth time, I have written down, I've tried to write down the order I want to do this literally every time I film this, and then I kind of forget, so hopefully I won't lose this. I am gonna start with finished objects just because there's kind of a bulk. I'm changing up the order slightly this month. I don't know if I'll change it back next month, but today first we're doing finished objects. I once again do not know the order that I did these. I know vague orders. I'm gonna kind of go in that way. The first two things I have are these cute little UT Austin Longhorns. I just decided to make them because I wanted to sell them, and I just think they're really cute. I think I'm gonna do a story sale also. I think I briefly mentioned this last time that I was thinking about doing a market. It's still like high 90s and hundreds like every freaking day here, so I don't want to do a market basically, and I have to like find it. I'm not really in a there's a really good like small business market, even crochet community in San Antonio. I just haven't been very active in it recently, and I don't quite have it in me to like reach out just to do one market. So I am gonna just do a story sale, I think. So go to my Instagram if you like that. There is gonna be other stuff, but this is gonna be on there. And then also with these guys, I finished two Texas A&M bears. These guys are also adorable. I don't remember the last time I made just like a teddy bear, but I love these. See, at the beginning of the month I was in a really big like school spirit mood, so I made these bow keychains, and these are just for like the schools people go to in my area. So this is a university, and then I have obviously UT Austin and A&M. These are literally all just little bows. I think they're adorable. And then UTSA, which is actually funny because it's also the Syracuse colors, but here people see it as UTSA. So I made two of each, and these were honestly a really quick project that are just done now. The next thing I did was I wouldn't say it's impulsive, but it is very much in the background now, was these hexagons. This one's unfinished. I'm probably going to undo this one, but I finished 5 hexagons because this is going to be like my ongoing background blanket. I have a bunch of this type of yarn. I'm just gonna keep making them, and when I have enough to make a blanket, I will sew them together and it'll be a blanket. It's really nothing crazy. This one I'm gonna take apart because I couldn't finish the 6th one, and I think I'll do a different project for like all of these because I used like a whole ball to do these, and I think they're all gonna have a little extra, so I'll put this aside for something else. I talked about this project in my last podcast, I believe. I finally got finished. It is this long sleeve, I don't know, it's pretty much a sweater. It's thick enough to be a sweater, but it's very fitted like a top, so I keep wanting to call it a top, but it's kind of a sweater. This is what it is. I love this thing so much. I used the Lion Brand chainette in a bunch of different colors, and yeah, I just wanted to make this super like color block random thing, so that's what I did. It's a raglan shaping all the way, around, and then I did just like some mock ribbing. Can you see that? I did it on the edges and on the neck. I left the bottom. Oh no, I did do on the bottom. Whoa, I thought I didn't. I added this after. It's kind of hard to see, but it's in the same blue, and I just really love how this turned out look wise. I think it'll be really nice to bring some color to my wardrobe, because in the winter time, like when it's so cold, I kind of forget how to dress and how to act. So this is really fun. I'm excited to wear this. I'm also going to school in Syracuse. If you missed that video, hey, I'm transferring to Syracuse. It's in upstate New York, and it's freezing cold. So this will definitely get some wear. I'll probably wear like a white long sleeve or like a thermal under it, just because it is slightly scratchy. I love this yarn. I love how soft and squishy it is, and it was fine to work with, but it is just ever so slightly scratchy, like on my neck and my chest. My arms, I don't really care so much. So I think mixed with a thermal like long sleeve, it'll be legitimately perfect, because it is very warm on its own. I don't think it's like freezing weather warm, but you get what I mean. And then around the time that I was finishing up all those projects, it was kind of time to hard pivot into vacation mode, because me and my sister realized, we're like, oh, we go on vacation in like 2 weeks, or I don't even remember, maybe a week, I don't remember quite when, but she wanted a tank top to wear, and because I am so kind, I made one for her. And it's kind of hard, it's like, you can kind of see the style where it cinches in the middle and it's got that gap. I don't think she has any pictures of it on. If she does, I'll insert them. I really don't think she had any though, and I'm not going to try it on because I think it's too small for me. But yeah, it's made out of a cotton, it's this yarn, but I don't have the tag. It's a cotton acrylic blend. It's like, it's stretchy, it's breathable. I held a double because I was really lazy. And yeah, I mean, it was a simple thing to do. We kept having to adjust it to fit her properly, but I think in the end, it ended up fitting her perfectly, which was like, okay, it was worth it, yeah. So that was cool. And then the last finished object I actually don't have with me, because I just gifted it on the vacation I just got back from. I will insert pictures. It's this, if I do say so myself, beautiful brown sweater. Not my pattern. I will link the pattern because I don't even remember what it's called, but I did buy it. The same, God, what is her name? I should learn her name, because this is now the second pattern from her that I bought, and I just absolutely love it. I love her patterns. They're so easy to follow, and they're like simple, but they end up looking really nice. Like she had a bunch of sizes for all of them, so I really love her patterns. But this is the brown sweater. I was using Karen Simply Soft, and I just really love it. I want to make another one for myself, probably. I don't know what yarn. I don't need to buy yarn, but I definitely could probably find some yarn to use. But yeah, I have a video. I filmed a video while I was making it, like a little vlog, and I did wait last minute and made it in 8 days and finished steam blocking it literally the night before our flight. Our flight was at like 6 or something, and we had to leave the house at like 5:15. I was blocking that sweater at literally 3 a.m. So yeah, I definitely waited too long to start it, but I think the result was beautiful and the person who got it loved it, so my job here is done basically. But that was the last thing I finished in July. So now we are in our works in progresses. I have a few now, thanks to vacation. Gonna start with the one that I don't know if I talked about it. I probably did last time. There's been no progress on it, but I thought I would just remind y'all because it's here. It's this cotton t-shirt. It literally looks like nothing because it's gonna be like a boxy t-shirt on me. Using this Sheepy's Worlette, and it's literally just rows and rows of double crochet, and I just got tired of working on it. But it's probably gonna go back to being my car project just to have with me. If not, it'll be like, I'm thinking it's gonna be like my lecture project. If you've been around for a while, you know last school year I had granny squares that I would work on during lectures to keep me awake, and I don't have that this year, so I think it's gonna be this, at least for the time being, just because I really don't have the motivation to work on it right now, and I don't see myself having the motivation to work on it. The next few whips are ones that I actually started on vacation because I had all these finished objects and literally no projects. The first one is this bra, and it's using the same cotton acrylic blend, and this one was thrifted, and I don't even recognize the tag, so I'm sorry. I think it's like a weight 3 yarn. I think it says weight 4, but it's more like a weight 3 to me. It's very thin. I've been using a 4mm hook. This one right here, just a plastic hook from Hobby Lobby. Jesus Christ. Plain old. So basically, I wanted something that I could actually wear that actually like worked as a bra, but was comfortable. I didn't want, because I've seen bra patterns that are like the triangles. I don't love that shape in general. I've seen some that are bras, but then they're like adjustable straps. I didn't want something like bulky. Obviously it's crocheted, it's a little bulky, but I wanted something that could still be like semi-normal regular wear. So I just made it myself. So I started with a chain slightly smaller than my like underbust size. I actually made it too small, so then I had to go back and like do, this was all added on after the fact, and it's the same on this side, like this little area. It did end up working though, because I had to do this kind of shaping, so it did end up, I think it'll work. And then this, I just literally based it off of a bra that I have and like the shape of and like the fit of. So this is what it looks like, honestly, nothing crazy. What I still need to do on this, I want to add a pretty like tight ribbing, because you can see how the edge is kind of stretching out already, and I do want it to like fit like it's actually doing something. So I'm going to go and do a ribbing on the bottom edge, and I'm thinking either I'll go down a hook size, or there's this one technique that I learned from a different pattern I bought that I really liked and really kind of cinched in what I was putting the ribbing on. So I think that'll work for this project. And then after I do the ribbing, I just need to do the straps, but I want to do like I want to do the straps last, because I want it to like, I'm gonna do the ribbing and sew on the hook and eyes, because I want the straps to like be placed properly, and I don't think I'll be able to do that without like having it on me. Does that make sense? Hopefully. But yeah, that I want this to be done honestly in like the next week, so we'll just see. I have a lot of things to do with school, with moving soon, so we'll see. I hope I don't have to take this whip with me, but this is honestly almost done. This next one I could have gotten even more progress on, I just didn't pack enough yarn. I am using this like these really tiny little cotton yarns from Joann, and I packed 2 orange and 2 blue and then ran out of the blue, so I couldn't keep going, which was fine because then I got to work on other things. But I'm making a tank top using the same pattern that I did for my green tank top. So I will insert a picture of either the pattern or the green tank top, whichever I find easier. Same pattern designer as the sweater. I literally love her, but I'm just doing like a modified size because I made the green in a size large and it ended up being too tight, but I think the extra large will be too loose, and I'm using a slightly thicker yarn. So I just did like, luckily this pattern is pretty simple in like you can adjust the sizes pretty easily. So I just did that, and this is the front panel. School colors, I'm thinking more like game day vibe. It's not like a super practical color palette for me, but I wanted to make the tank top nonetheless. So here we are. This is, yeah, the front panel, and the back panel I had to stop. This is another one, again, no time limit on it, but you know, sooner than later. Would love to not travel with whips, and if I do, like just literally one for the plane or something, like nothing crazy. So I am hoping to get these done in the next 2.5, 3 weeks. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem though. But that's all for this one. And then my last whip, I am so excited to like actually call this a whip, because if you have been watching for a while, you know I want to make socks. I don't know what it is. Like, I know some people, it's pretty big, and it kind of bothers me how like there's so much in like the knitting community. I feel like crocheting on the internet is not like, it's not niche, but it's like so much less common, at least the internet I'm seeing, than knitting is. So I've seen a lot of people like refer to themselves as like sock knitters, like they always have a pair of socks on their needles, and I kind of want to be like that for crocheting. I love socks. I am a big sock girl and Birkenstock girl, so my socks are on display. Like, I'm sorry, but I really have been buying yarn to crochet socks. I think it's just like so cool. And I had a pattern, was not working out for me at all. I had to undo it finally, and I started this new one, and I have obviously made progress. The other one was toe up, which I imagined liking more, but this pattern starts ankle down, I guess, and I'm not fighting it. Like, that's fine. Some details. I am using this Eddie Bauer yarn. It came in a ball, in a skein, but I caked it up. It's this Eddie Bauer yarn from Joann's. It was fingering weight, I think. Hold on, I have the tag here. it's a weight 2. So it's actually, unless I'm literally dumb, I'm pretty sure socks are made with weight 1 yarn. But this one, so far, it's like fitting well like it's supposed to, so it's honestly fine. But it is Eddie Bauer Adventurer Cotton. It came with 150 grams, which is why I wanted to use this yarn first, because I've been buying around or only 100 grams for a few yarns now. And like, it's pretty common knowledge, like you can knit socks with 100 grams of yarn, but like there's very little information on if you can crochet socks, because crocheting takes more yarn generally. So I'm like, okay, this one I have 150 grams. I actually have more. I have several of these, but like one ball is 150. So I'm like, let me start with this and see like how much I have left over and see if that 100 grams is a good estimate. Anyways, I'm yapping far too much, but this is the ribbing. I've kind of learned as I'm making this, I really don't need this thick of a ribbing. I think the next ones I make will be like literally half. And then this is the ankle, and then I've started the heel is like this part right here. And I'm excited. The pattern so far has been super easy. There was some drama with the hooks because the pattern says to use a 2.25 for the smaller bits like the ribbing and a 3.25 for like the rest of it. And I found the 3.25 hook, no problem, but I could not find the 2.25 hook. On my vacation, I went to 3 different yarn stores and a Joann's and a Michael's and could not find the 2.25 hook. I owned already a 2.5 hook because that's when I was like buying sock yarn randomly. I was like, I don't actually have a hook I can use for this. So I randomly bought this one because I thought it was small enough. But I wanted to like go with the pattern, and the pattern said 2.25. So I was like, okay, I'll get one. Could not find it. And I wasn't really too worried about it when I was packing for my trip, because I was like, okay, this is the project I'm gonna do if I like am tired of the other two. I'm going to these yarn stores. I know there's Joann's in the area. Like I can probably just find a hook. Could not find it. I was like, first of all, this is crazy. So I just started using this one, and it's worked. Honestly, it's worked perfectly fine. I think for the next one, I'll try the smaller hook. Just to see if it makes a difference, but for my case right now it's worked just fine. But that was annoying. I was like, what is going on? Like, what? Anyways, socks. Well, hopefully, I don't know if these will be done by the time I leave for school, honestly, because it is a little bit more involved. I have to follow a pattern, I have to learn new things, new techniques, whatever. But I am excited to finally be working on this, what it feels like for real this time, so yay. Sorry guys. Oh, I still sound like I'm literally drying out. I've been talking too much and also did not drink enough water on my trip, so I'm literally feel like I'm recovering right now. But aside from that, what is next? Next is I'm adding and then also combining a segment, because as we know, I'm on a yarn ban. I should have no acquisitions. I do, but I don't know if I mentioned this in the vlog of my vacation, but I don't think I realized, like, it definitely wasn't like impossible, but I just kind of didn't want to not get yarn. And what happened was I planned on going to one yarn store on my past vacation. It was like in the itinerary. It was in an area that's not like where I used to live. We were kind of out of the way in a new area, and I was like, I want to go to this place like just to see like these little shops, right? And I wasn't planning on buying yarn, but of course my plans going into the vacation was to compensate for looking for the sock hooks and a sock blocker instead of buying yarn. And then the store didn't have those things. And I unfortunately suffer from like when you go into like really small businesses and you like look around and you say hi to the person at the desk or whatever, and then you don't buy anything. Like, I hate it. First of all, I really don't, especially when it's like a yarn store and it's like, I know, I guess, I don't know, like it feels different. So I don't really like leaving empty-handed. I like to go to yarn stores if I feel like I can buy something or I need something, whatever. So that's why I was like, well, if I look for a sock blocker or hooks, I won't leave empty-handed, but I won't buy more yarn. And then they didn't have what I needed, and I was like, shit. So I gave some leeway. I kind of decided after, and why am I like telling things out of the way? So that was the one yarn store I planned to go to, but then my favorite beach back home There's like a main street like most kind of beach towns have, and I haven't been there since March, and there was a yarn shop that opened up on that main street, and I'm like, this is my favorite beach. I can't believe like after I've moved away there's a yarn shop. Like, this is kind of crazy. So I go in there and they're super nice, and I was kind of like, so like, oh my god, I can't believe this yarn store is here. I bought something, and I was like, okay, well, dang. And then we went to Catalina Island, and it was funny because I didn't actually expect there to be yarn. There was a little store that's, the sign said Catalina Crafts, and because it's like a touristy spot, I was like, well, maybe it's just like crafty things or like handmade things. And it was a craft store, which is like kind of makes sense. Like, people live on the island, there's got to be one craft store, and it was adorable little place. But sure enough, I go in there thinking it's gonna be little like souvenirs I don't need, and then I see yarn and I'm like, oh, and mind you, it was 30% off. So I was like, dang, like, okay. And I was talking to my sister there, and she's the one who's kind of like, girl, you don't need yarn, like, what are you talking about? But even she seeded that, like, I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to Catalina Island. Not that it's impossible to do, but it's just kind of like, you have to take a ferry from like mainland USA. Like, you have to take a ferry there. Like, you have to buy the tickets, you have to plan ahead. It's kind of like a whole thing. And I'm like, well, I'm not, this is a souvenir. Like, I'm not going to be back here. I could order the yarn online, yeah, but you know, let's be situational. Let's be real. Like, it's a souvenir. So I got it. But as I was doing all this, I was like, okay, girl, like, you're buying yarn. Long story short, I decided kind of like halfway through my vacation, I was like, for any ball of yarn or skein of yarn that I buy, when I come home, I'm destashing 2 balls per ball. Like, so I came home with 7 balls of yarn, and I will show you the 14 balls that I'm destashing, because I'm like, I'm not trying to punish myself, but I am trying to like hold myself accountable. I was like, no, I'm on a yarn ban. Like, if I'm gonna break that ban to bring in yarn, I need to like do something about it. I'm not gonna just like do nothing about it. So that's what I did. I will say, I think the yarn I bought is it is better quality and more suited to like the things I make now than the yarn I'm destashing. So it's fine, I think, you know. Anyways, so I'm gonna show you what I got, because that was a lot of talking to lead up to that. The first yarn I got is this yarn from Gusto Wool, and it's like, I don't know if you could call it a sock set, but it literally says hand dyed, sock weight. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon, superwash, 100 grams. It's a sock yarn. What's cool is though it does come split up. Yeah, I just gave you all the stats. I think this is just like the most pretty color ever. There's a bit, it's like green and purple, and I just loved it so much. And I will not lie to you, this was literally the first night in California. I've dragged my friends to my favorite beach, and we're walking down the main street, and I'm expecting all the stores I normally see. And one of my friends was like, oh yeah, this store has yarn. And I'm like, pardon? Like, what are you talking about? And it's a new yarn store. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. But I did look for like kind of the cheapest yarn, because I didn't want, they had some cool cottons and stuff. What was cool about this yarn store is they were like very focused on like sustainability practices and fibers. So I don't know, wool is an animal product, but it's like, I guess more environmentally friendly than like the acrylics and stuff. So they had wool, they had a lot of like recycled cottons, recycled anything really. I was impressed though. I don't know like how they kind of do things, because this 100 grams of hand-dyed yarn was $18, and I was like, that's actually a good price. I am a little worried because when I see it split up, I'm like, that looks so tiny, like a small amount of yarn for to crochet socks out of. So again, going back to the green, I want to see quite how much yarn I'm using. And then also, as I look at this, I'm like, oh, the weight one definitely looks smaller than that green cotton. So I'm not too worried, because I can always find a weight one wool in like the green or the purple if I need to like get another one to compensate for like toes, heels, ankle kind of thing. I'm not, like, that's a possibility for me. But I did just kind of love this one and wanted to get it. And I did. Also, I am counting this as 2 just because I've talked about it in my destashing videos. When I'm counting, I'm not going by like 100 grams is 1 ball. I'm just going like 1, 2, like any unit is 1. So this is counting as like 2 coming into my stash. But aside from that. And then I'm going to get to the Catalina yarn. So again, was not expecting, they had a lot of like, they had a nice selection of like burnout blanket, like the commercially available yarns, I guess they got shipped in, but then they had a few like smaller brands, and I was like, hello, this is adorable. So I got 3 of the Queensland Collection recycled tweed, and it's really cool. Like, the colors are kind of hard to, like, it's, the tweed colors are a bit more vibrant in person than like what's kind of showing up, but I love it. But yeah, I don't know, I was really happy with these. I think they were really cool. I've seen Queensland Collection in other yarn stores, but I've never seen this one, and I think just because it was from Catalina, like, I'll know this as like my Catalina yarn, and I love that. Last yarn that I got in July are these 2 Emma's Yarns minis. I love this brand, obviously, because we share a name. But what I really like about this brand, Emma's Yarn, is they only stock like local yarn stores. You can't buy directly from Emma's Yarns. You can only buy from yarn stores that carry Emma's Yarns, which I think is just really cool. Like, I don't know, I think it's cool that that's like their point is to like not force people, but force people to support local yarn stores. I think that's amazing. But anyways, I got these 2 minis just because it was like maybe halfway through my vacation, and I was like, you know, I bought a bit of souvenirs by now, and these were only, God, I want to say like $7 or $8. So I'm like, okay, like, it's cheap, first of all, but I figured, because upon reflection of the green socks, of the sock yarn I've been buying kind of thing, I was thinking, I was like, I don't want to get another single skein of yarn and be stuck with it. And I was thinking back to what I did have, and I know that I have a single skein of hand-dyed yarn from Hobby Lobby that I got with the intention to make yarn, with the intention to make socks, but it's only 100 grams, and I'm really feeling like I'm gonna need more than that. And so I think, oh God, as I drop them, I think these will be useful. I am now kind of going out of order. I wish I had paid more attention, but kind of now we're into Notions. The same place that I got this yarn, they had little stitch markers with, I mean, the place was called The Altered Stitch, and I don't even think it's technically LA. I think it's some other surrounding city. But they were like, I asked her, I was like, oh, how much are the stitch markers? And I swear to God, they were like $1 or $2 or something. And I was like, oh yeah, a little wooden stitch marker, like engraved, had to get. So that was really cute. And then I forgot already, but also in Catalina, in that craft store, because it was like a craft store, they had a bunch of stuff, but they had these really pretty buttons. And I just thought they were so cool. I want to say they're like shell, because that's what they kind of look like, but they have these little engravings in them. So I got 4. I have plans and different yarn for cardigan, so I thought that would be cool just to kind of have waiting for a cardigan. Yeah, and I think it was like $2 per button, so that was not too bad. What else did I get? I told you the drama with the crochet hooks, and before I decided to just use the 2.5, I ordered one on Amazon to get back to my house. So now I have a 2.25, which is like, I'm gonna see which one, because also, I mean, I don't know, I just have it just to see like if I like this one more, if it makes it different, whatever. I bought what I thought was a 2.25. See how that says 2.25? Literally, the Michaels that I went to, I could fight them. I was so excited to see the words the numbers 2.25 in store that I didn't even quite clock that. I'm like, that's kind of a thick hook. And mind you, this is after I've paid and gotten home. It's not a 2.25. Someone switched it out for a freaking 3mm hook. Can this focus? Do y'all see that? And I got home and I was like, what? Oh, I was so angry because I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't spend that much. I spent $2.49. But I'm still gonna go to Michael's now and freaking return it because I don't need a 3mm hook that doesn't have, like, I like hooks with the little like grip on it. I was buying this because I was desperate. and it's not even the hook size I need. And I'm like, no, I'm returning this and getting my $3 freaking back, because like, oh, I was so annoyed when I saw that. So yeah, I have this. Earlier in July, I was at work and I'm like, we don't sell novels. We have like different instruction books for so many different crafts, for like quilting, baking, sewing, crocheting, whatever. So many. But we never have had novels. And then I saw this and I was like, I need to get this. This is amazing. It's called A Wicked Yarn. It's first in a new series, and it's a craft fair knitter's mystery. And I'm like, first of all, the front is so cute. I was like, quite frankly, I don't even care if this is like the lamest book ever. I thought it was so cute that there was like a knitting centered novel. I was like, this is literally adorable. So let's see how much. I don't remember how much I paid for it. It was $7.99 regular price, 20% off, and then with my employee discount, I paid $4.47. And I was like, yeah, this works for me actually. So I'm excited to read this at some point. I just thought it was really cute and crochet related, obviously. And then another thing, at Seal Beach, there's this little shop that has all kinds of handmade things from around the world. And I've been wanting one of these for so long, and I was just in there and like could not resist this time. And I also think in my school apartment, wherever I put my yarn, I want to make like the crochet corner. Oh god, I showed y'all. And so I was like, I need to get this. I need to get this finally. So this is oh, it's so cute. This is a teeny tiny little like toy alpaca, and it's made with 100% alpaca. Like, this is alpaca hair that someone like, I don't know, wound up, I guess, into this little alpaca stuffy. And then he has his own knitted hat. And what's so adorable is, like, in the store there are a few different colors of alpaca and then a bunch of variations of this hat. So like, if you want a light alpaca and like a dark hat, or a light alpaca and a black hat, or a white hat, whatever, they're all there. Oh, and I just thought he was the cutest thing ever. And like I said, I've gone to this beach for years. I've seen them in the store since it opened, and I'm like, I just need one so bad. And I don't know, something about moving away and like having a new space, I wanted to kind of like put him there. So I'm really excited about this guy. That is everything I bought. I'm actually gonna move you guys over a little bit. You get a new view of my room. What is over here? Yeah, that's my Build-A-Bear. But I want to show y'all the yarn I'm destashing because of the yarn I got. So like I said, I brought in 7 units of yarn, so I will be getting rid of 14 units of yarn. And I just we're kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty. I've done a lot of like self-reflection, going through my yarn. What am I going to use? What do I want? Whatever. I think I'm there now where I'm like, shoot, like, I kind of like these. So, you know, this is where we are. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to try to go through this kind of quickly because I am been talking for a while, I feel like. So the first one is this yellow Lily Sugar and Cream. I have nothing against Lily Sugar and Cream, but out of the ones I have, I think yellow is like the least usable, I guess. I have like 2 pinks, 2 oranges, and I have like colors that go together. I feel like this one was kind of the oddball, so I'm like, I can part with her. And then I have, same kind of situation, these 2, oh god, they look so bright on camera. They're not quite that bright, but they're 2 purple scrap cottons that I thrifted. I just don't wear purple that much, honestly. I do not. And then I have this one. This one was leftovers. It's Lion Brand Baby Soft, I think. And these 2 were leftovers, the white and pink, and I caked them up together. I like this yarn. I don't have immediate plans for it, so it's easy to let go of. Same situations, sort of. These 2 I also thrifted, and I kind of wanted to hold them together to kind of see what that look was like, but I don't have an exact, like, I had ideas for it, but it's not anything that I'm wanting to do right now. And I definitely could do with different yarn at a different time. So, you know, they're saying goodbye. They are pretty though. And then this other one is a bamboo, or maybe a silk. God, I don't forget already. This one is Patent Silk Bamboo. There you go. I have more of the Patent Silk Bamboo, but this is the only like lone black, not full skein. All the other colors kind of go together. So again, easy to kind of part with. And the next ones I've kept around as like my product yarn. This might sound kind of like, huh? But there's like some yarns that I think of as like my personal yarns. That's gonna be like the wools, the cottons, like things that I have like clothing or like personal plans for. And then I have of like all my Bernat and all my like acrylic yarn, mostly Bernat acrylic and like some plush yarns. Those are like product yarns. I don't make stuffies for myself. I make stuffies to sell kind of thing. So like these yarns I've been keeping around, but even just like, even for products, I'm like, I don't feel drawn to them to make with them, period. So I'm destashing them, you know, we're getting real here. That being said, the first two are these two Bernat velvets. They're cool. I bought them for an order. I really only needed one and I bought two. And again, I don't wear purple. The hat that I made the order for, I don't plan on remaking, and it's just kind of like not a usable yarn for me. In that same vein of raising, I guess, is this Bernat velvet. And then 4 actually, 2 of them don't have the thing, but they're Parfait Chunky, and they just look like this. They're kind of like one of the thinner plush, and it's this gray, this blue, and then these 2 purples. Whoa. Again, they're great yarns, just kind of not what I use on the regular. I'm not a very like try new things person, honestly. Like I struggle like finding patterns that I want to try and spend time on. So when it comes to like things I'm making to sell, I kind of stick to stuff I know how to make or that I like to make, because I need to make several of them. So these yarns just kind of don't fit that bill. They refer specific things, and so they're going. That does mean though I'm left with not a lot of things that I could potentially destash without being like, oh, I wanted that. Like that's not even productive anymore. Yeah, that is the acquisition / destash, you know. Hopefully next month it'll just be stuff I've destashed, but actually I keep saying this, but I'm like, I'm thinking about the next few weeks and then moving. I'm like, geez, when do I even have time to buy yarn? But I'm not going to take you through every single plus and minus on my list here, but I have been keeping pretty good track. So when I counted yarn at the end of last month, I had 278, and my goal was to get down to 250 by the time I move out for school. And so now at the end of July, I'm at 238. So I've already, yippee, gone past my 250 goal. I'm trying to think of a new goal off the top of my head. By move out or by end, I mean, it might be by move out, but you won't know about it till I guess probably the podcast at the end of August. I'm gonna say like, see if I can get down to 230, if I can go through 8 balls of yarn in a month. Way less than last month, but I think this month's gonna be way busier. So I'll keep you updated, but that's what we're looking at. We are now in the future plans segment. I don't have crazy plans for the next month. One thing I will say, you will notice I did not update you on my temperature blanket. That would be because I didn't touch it this month. I don't know like what happened, where in the weeks before vacation I just like was doing other stuff and I was like, I don't need to do that, like I'll catch up later. And then the 15th rolled around and I was like, oh shoot, it's been half a month, I haven't touched my temperature blanket. Another week goes by and I'm like, well, I'm going on vacation now. And I didn't want to, like I could have very easily brought it. I just didn't want to, honestly. The other projects were more exciting to me. So I do need to do that. I have literally nothing to show you guys on the temperature blanket, but I will, I guess, show 2 months next time. In past years, honestly, like there's been like droughts of me not working my temperature blanket. So I've honestly been pretty good this year, and I think that was like kudos to me for planning on such small daily things, because the past few years, like the first year I did a row every day and it was quite a long row, so it could get pretty tedious. And then last year I did granny squares each month, so like days 1 through like 12 or 15 were pretty chill, and then we'd get to like the bigger throughout the month, and for some reason I was always busy at the end of the month, and then the row took longer, and it was like I was constantly getting behind, but I've been pretty good until I think this month, so we'll work on that. I do want to obviously finish the 3 whips that I have. I don't really like whips lingering super long because then they kind of end up like this guy where they never get finished. After, I don't know. I know I have like an array of orange and blue project ideas, but I also know I can just do those at school. Like, I don't really need to do them here. I think I probably have one more summery top left in me after this guy. I don't think I'll make it. I might make another tank top, but I think I'll try to make like a t-shirt, like blouse vibe. Something I can wear casually. I don't know. I definitely have the yarn for tops. I just have to find a pattern I think that would work with it really well. So definitely maybe one more garment in the next month. I would love to kind of perfect the bra pattern. So if I start another one of those, that'd be really cool. I have some silk or bamboo yarn that I think would be really comfortable. And also obviously more socks. So there is definitely ideas and there's material. Anyways, my very last little segment is going to be very short today because I have not read or watched much of anything. I've been watching my same old YouTubers. You can go, I want to say in this, not last podcast, but the one before that, I linked or mentioned a bunch of the YouTubers on here that I love watching. If I can find that list, I will include it in the description. But I haven't done a whole lot of reading just because I've been busy. But I did start The Song of Achilles, and mind you, I was scared to start this because everyone talks about how heartbreaking it is, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that. And I will admit, like, it took me a minute to get into this book. I was going super slow because, like, I want to say a solid, like, what is that, like an eighth, like the first few chapters, I did not want to read it. It was like so boring to me. And then almost randomly, like, I was like, oh, this book is super interesting, I love it. And so when I actually like make a point to sit down, I like love reading it. I just haven't been super great about carving out time to read, or just like haven't had time to read. I took it on my vacation and I think I read like 2 pages, so you know, stuff like that. But yeah, hoping to get this done this month too, because I don't have a lot of space to pack books. So I don't want to pack one I'm halfway through. I'd rather finish this and pack 2 or 3 that like haven't been touched yet. But yeah, that is all for the month of July. I can't believe that this month is over and we are in August and like school is about to start. It's been a crazy first 7 months of the year, honestly, but I'm so glad that y'all have been here like watching it all. I got serious about YouTube in January, and I kind of it was like I started like last summer, but I wasn't again serious till January, and I had a goal of literally 100 subscribers this year, and we're at almost 1,000 now, which is just so crazy to me that that many people are watching and like wanting to see more of the stuff I like talk about and post about. So thank you for watching and just being here. Speaking of 1,000 subscribers though, I don't know, my mind is like boggled. I really want to do a giveaway though. I just don't know if I want to do a giveaway of like destash yarn. Like, I toyed with the idea because I don't want to, like, if someone wants it, I think it's better than just like donating it to the thrift store. But I do kind of feel like this vibe of like giving away trash, because it's not trash, but I'm like, I'm getting rid of it either way. So I don't know if that would be like a giveaway prize that people want. I also know a lot of people that comment are like also very aware of their yarn stash. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't add to the problem. Or I'm like, I could really very easily do like a custom stuffed animal. Like, I love making things for people, so I'm like, that would be a really good giveaway prize. I have not thought about it very much, so if you have giveaway ideas, you can comment them. I don't know quite yet, but I do want to do one just because 1,000 subscribers is kind of crazy. So yeah, I do want to acknowledge that and kind of give back in like any way I can, because y'all don't have to watch me. Like, it's really You do not have to watch me on the internet, but people do. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and also subscribe so I can actually have an 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Yeah? Okay, cool. I need to go. I got other things to do and work later and videos to edit, literally. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can like, comment, subscribe, put the little notification bell. I'm on other platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest. I'm on Instagram the most after YouTube, actually before YouTube. I'm on Instagram a lot. You can definitely follow me on there. I will probably also be posting giveaway details on there once I have those figured out, but I will be mentioning it in the next few videos. So all things to stay tuned for and follow me for more. I really don't have that much more to say, so thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a lovely day or night, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.